coming up the coast. Nice little ride. We stopped here at Neptune's, local hangout spot for bikers and everything, and a little seafood. So we're gonna get a little bite to eat right across from the water. So we're just up here having a good time, checking out some of the bikes. That's fire right there. Yeah. So.
Y'all make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
So you already know me and my murals. So we got this one right here, California Dreaming. It is what it is. And little dude get his little photo op in with the bikes. That's what it's all about, though. So check it out, man. You already know, if you got any murals in your city, in your town, man, holla at your boy, man. I'm coming through and get that snapshot, get that photo op, you know what I mean? And I tell you what, man, I'll even take you out for lunch. How about that? California Dreaming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro with you on tonight. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Check it out, man. We got the second annual Genesis ride coming up on you. That will be Sunday, January the 1st, 2023. You see it on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you put this on your calendar. Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry in the building. We want you to come through and fellowship with us. It's going to be a great ride. It'll probably be about maybe an hour ride, give or take. We will then break for lunch, and we're planning on having a great time. So, it's open to everybody, including Lottie Dottie. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, is welcome to come and participate on this event. Check it out, man. Let me just get this out the way. On Monday coming, we got a show for you. The one and only Doc J will be in the building. Make some noise for my homegirl out there out of Phoenix, Arizona. Doc J, president of Ground Pound Riders. They're doing their thing. We're going to be chopping it up, man, as we sit down and talk about keeping it real no matter what. That's a conversation for your behind right there. So make sure you tune in and holler at your boy this coming Monday evening at 8 p.m. December the 19th, 8 p.m. Make sure you put it on your calendar, make it a date, and don't you dare think about being late. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some music in the background. I do not own the rights to the music, but yo, Mr. Vegas, if you don't mind, we're begging you a little blind, man, on this one right here, because it's all about the blessings. Check it out, man. The enemy is always going to do his job. He's always going to do his job. He's going to try his best to stop you in your tracks. He does not want you to accomplish what God has purposed in your heart to do. But you got to count your blessings and name them one by one. Yep, that part right there. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I declare and I decree that not only am I blessed, but I will not apologize for the blessings that's upon my life. Vegas, tell me about the blessings. Yo, what's up, everybody? All right. I don't own the rights to the music, but trust me, yo. Okay, all right. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Everybody's blessed. So put your hands together and make some noise for the Lord Jesus Christ himself, because he picked you up and turned you around. The truth of the matter is, we were all sinking deep in sin, sinking to rise no more. But God has blessed us abundantly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's just hop right on in this, man. Tonight, what we want to talk about is mind over matter. How bad is it really? Okay. Mind over matter. How bad is it? How How bad is the situation that you are facing? As you know, ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday nights, we like to talk about motorcycle ministry, things pertaining to motorcycle ministry. And we try to give a show to encourage those of us who are out here trying to represent the Lord as we ride our motorcycles across this country. I don't know if you are a state to state rider. I don't know if you are a bike night to bike night rider. But if you have a motorcycle, I promise you that thing is a tool. You've often heard me say it. And we certainly want to hear from you tonight. If I got any of my brothers out there, brothers or sisters in motorcycle ministry, you are welcome to join this conversation on tonight. To join me, you can just go ahead and copy down that link there, and you can come right on into the show if you so desire, or you can give us a call at 980-222-4492. Let me make sure I'm giving you the correct number here, because I don't call myself too often. But the telephone number to call, let's get this out of the way. Bada boom, bada bang. Where we at? We'll go ahead and move that for a moment. 980-222-4492. That's the number to call. That will connect me to you and you to me, and we can go ahead and chop it up. All right. So it doesn't matter if you are a state to state rider, because here's the thing, man. I want to give a shout out to all of the Kingdom Alignment team, motorcycle ministry. And I also want to say a shout out to, we got some new recruits that will be joining Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. Yeah, we're proud of that. We're happy about that. But here's one thing that I share with the team. I share with the team that look, we're going to have some people that will come on board, and not everyone's going to have the same riding style. Not everyone is going to have the same riding urgency, if you will. Like today, it was raining and it was in the 30s, you know. But where am I? I'm out on my bike, Ruby Red. We out there in the weather, in the elements. And we're making it do what it do. But somebody said, man, what do you I said, well, it takes a little bit of dedication and a whole lot of stupidity. I mean, I'm just saying, my point is, what's my point? My point is, not everyone is going to have the same riding desire that you have. Okay. And this is something that I learned from somebody some years ago. And let me pause and set this up, because my father used to always tell me, he said, you can learn something from anybody. He said, I don't care if it's a bum on the street, you can learn something from everybody if you pay attention. Now, with that said and done, not everyone is setting out to be a good example, but there are some bad examples that you will learn some of your most valuable lessons from. Okay. Learning what not to do sometimes is your most precious gift that you could ever learn. Okay. And so I knew this individual that will remain nameless, but they would flaunt the miles that they rode as though it was some kind of a badge, And so I don't want to do that. I'll get out there and I'll ride my bike, but I don't want to take what I do and allow that which I do to discourage somebody else from doing what they want to do. Okay, and so what I tell the team is that it's simply this: some people may want to join the team, but they may only have 10,000 miles a year, in their arsenal. Some may join the team and they got 30, 40,000 miles in their arsenal. Let people get in where they fit in. Okay, let people get in where they fit in. Now let's talk for a moment. Now, if you are a ground pounder, okay, you should do it in such a way, number one, that it looks easy. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay. True ground pounders, they get out there, they hit the ground and they pound and they make it look easy. You will mess around trying to follow a ground pounder and get stranded. I mean, I'm just saying they do it and they make it look easy because they bout that life. They can do it, so before you jump out there trying to follow a ground pounder, you might want to do your research. You might want to ask some questions, and you might want to start on a level where you can handle. Don't ever bite off more than you can chew. Let me just say that, okay? And then the other thing we have to understand, if you are a true ground pounder, you should inspire. Now, I know some ground pounders out there that do their thing. And the funny thing is, well, let me just keep it civil here. I have reached out to some of these ground pounders, And every one of the real ground pounders, I'm not talking about somebody who's wanting to be, but somebody who is. Everyone that I reached out to, they were willing to share information, knowledge, and insight. That goes a long way. It goes a long way. It says a whole lot more about you than it does the other individual. Okay, and so a ground pounder should do it, number one, in a way where it looks easy. You know, they're always on their iron. They're always out there doing their thing. But at the same time, it inspires somebody else to want to do it. Now, if you are constantly flaunting the miles that you ride and the places you've been and everything, you ain't a real ground pounder. You just hunting for some, some. Okay, all right. I think I've said enough of that, and I don't want to sound as though I'm negative. Let's see here. I need to grab. Oh gosh. All right, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Phone call was trying to come through, and so anyway, ground pounders. Okay, when you're out doing your thing, man, a true ground pounder will, number one, do it in a way where it looks easy, but most importantly, they will be willing to put people on. So for Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, we're talking to motorcycle ministry specifically tonight, but it's applicable across the board, and all riders should be able to benefit what we're talking about on tonight. And again, our subject matter tonight is mind over matter. Okay, mind over matter. Okay, and so for Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, we understand, ladies and gentlemen, that not everybody who's going to come on is going to come on as a ground pounder, but they may get to that status. And we don't ever want to leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth by the way we handle the situation or anything like that, nor should you. Okay. I tell people this all the time. We had made mention of it again on last night during Bible study. True ministry. Somebody say true ministry. Are you there tonight? If you're there, say something in the comment section. Let me know you're watching on tonight. I don't know if you're watching from my personal page, or if you're watching from YouTube, or if you're watching from the Retro Philosophy page on Facebook, or Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry page on Facebook. But wherever you're watching from tonight, do me a solid. Please do me a favor and let me know, hey, Retro, I'm watching on such and such page. I'm watching from such and such platform. Okay. If you would do that for me tonight, that would be great. It would help me kind of, see where we need to kind of gather our attention and focus to in terms of which platform and so on and so forth. Okay. So whenever you're good at something, again, you should be good at it, but you should also be humble with it. You should also be humble with it, And I know that I'm no major ground pounder, but guess what? I will get on my motorcycle and I will pound some pavement. I will get me some yonder. Okay, I don't need to. The whole world doesn't need to know. And you say, well, Retro, you always got the camera in your face while you ride, and well, I do, because I'm trying to build a platform here, But there are plenty of flexes that I got to make that the camera is never even on. Okay, there are plenty of places that I go that most of you guys don't even realize that I'm going here and going there and doing this and doing that, because not everything can be done in front of the camera. Not everything not everything that needs to be done does everyone need to know. We have a story in the Bible of Nehemiah. He had to rebuild his city, and but he did it quietly. Okay, he did it quietly, but it was only a matter of time till it was noised abroad. Okay, but anyway, back to Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. And if you are in the North Carolina area, or beyond for that matter, and you are looking for a good group of people to ride with, make sure you check us out, man. Give us a holler, and we would love to share with you our principles and what we believe, and why we believe what we believe. And who knows, it may be a good fit for you, and we may be able to become teammates on this thing. Okay, because there's so much ministry to be done, ladies and gentlemen. Real talk. And a motorcycle is an awesome tool, because it opens up doors, and it opens up opportunities for really great conversation. Okay, so you're good at it, right? You're good at what you do, but you've got to be mindful. You've got to be mindful. You've got to walk in a level and with a level of humility. And sometimes you have to do it strategically. Okay. Let's get back to this ground pounding thing. I wish I had a ground pounder out there that would holler at your boy on tonight. And because here's the thing, man, and I wasn't aware I would go this route per se, but I have a post that I posted a long time ago. It's been a couple years, I know, and I want to remember exactly how I worded it. It was actually an image that I had put up, a meme or whatever, but it was saying every even legends had to start somewhere. Okay, now you may know some living legends. I know I do. I know some living legends, right? But even they had to start somewhere. Okay, and so we have to be mindful because the person that you are flossing on today might be that living legend tomorrow or next week or next year. You understand what I'm saying? And so you want to be careful because the people you pass on your way up might be there on your way down. And on your way down, they're still rising. All I'm simply trying to say is we owe it not only to our brother and sister, but we literally owe it to ourselves to walk in humbleness. Y'all bear with me here. So you already know me and my murals. So we got this one right here, California Dreaming. You know, it is what it is. And little dude get his little photo op in with the bikes. That's what it's all about, though. So check it out, man. You already know if you got any murals in your city, in your town, man, holla at your boy, man. I'm coming through and get that snapshot, get that photo op. You know what I mean? And I tell you what, man, I even take you out for lunch. How about that? California Dreaming. Folks, what's going on? Thank you for your patience. I do apologize for the interruption. Very important phone call was trying to come through that I really need to catch. However, I was unable to catch it, so it will probably come back, and we'll just have to try to get it at that point. Do apologize. Do apologize. So, where were we at, folks? We were talking about the fact that you've got some people out here who, you have to walk in humbleness because on your way up you're doing good and you're forgetting about people and you're walking over people. But those same people you pass up on your way up will be there on your way down. And on your way down, they may be accelerating. Okay. We owe it to each other to be there for each other. Okay. So the ground pounders, we're out there, we're doing our thing, and people are coming on board. Okay, people are joining your motorcycle ministry, and but they don't ride like you ride. So how do you handle that? How do you handle that? Do you shame them because they only got 15,000 miles for the year, or they only got 8,000 miles for the year, and you're sitting at 30? So you shame them and think that's going to make them get out there and start pounding. Okay, so if you shame them into getting on their motorcycle, that could be dangerous. Okay, it could be dangerous because they're trying to do something to please somebody, but yet still they're not really at that level to do it. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 12 years old. Bought my first street bike at 15 and hadn't turned back since, and I'm still constantly learning. I'm still no pro, you know what I mean? But my point is, I'm very comfortable on a motorcycle pretty much in all conditions. But just because I'm comfortable on my motorcycle in all conditions doesn't mean that it still doesn't take work. You know what I mean? But I can get out there and I can pound with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't give me a right to shame someone who doesn't ride the way I ride or as much as I ride. Okay. My wife and I, we are gearing up for a ride to Alaska for 2024, and I've been looking at some footage and stuff. It's a very daunting ride. It's a very intimidating ride. It's a very challenging ride, you know. And yo, I was looking at some videos, and I kind of got shook, you know, because you know I'm hearing different testimonies, and I'm hearing different stories and different accounts and everything, and I'm just like, yo, you sure you want to do that ride? You know, um, but um, but I do. I want to do it. I want to make the ride. It's one of those things that's on my list. Um, I've always wanted to go to Alaska, um, but now I think we're gonna do it on the motorcycle. And so, what am I doing? I'm continuing to prepare. Now, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. And again, tonight we're talking about mind over matter, right? And so the biggest part of any ride for your boy, and again, different strokes for different folks. Some people, they may spend time, you know, working out, making sure they're hydrated and this, that, and the other, and all of that plays a part, especially during your warmer months. Um, but for me, the biggest part and the biggest challenge and the biggest obstacle is a mental. It's the mental part, the mind over matter, you know. And so here it is, the end of 2022. But already, you know, I'm talking it up, mentally making notes and you know, doing research and this, that, and the other. What am I saying? It takes time to build up to some things and for some things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get this. I gotta get this. Y'all just be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. I think we're good. I've got my wife working on that so she can handle that. Let's see here. Where are we at? So we owe it, and ladies, the image in the background as you was looking at is our Genesis ride coming up. It's our second annual. Every first of the year, January 1, we always take our first ride, and so we've deemed it the Genesis ride. Look, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me, even during those few interruptions. But we're talking about getting out there, ground pounding and everything. We're gearing up for an Alaska ride. It doesn't happen overnight. You gotta get in gear. You gotta be ready for it. And speaking of getting gear, both mentally and even physically, literal, there's some gear that you've got to get. I was looking at one guy's video, and he outfitted his bike because of all the gravel and everything that all the gravel and everything that let me do this real quick.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Because of all of the gravel and everything that and rocks that can be thrown up while you are riding over there and on those roads and everything. And so there's some literal gear that must be acquired as well. You understand what I'm saying? And so again, it doesn't happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to build up to some things, okay? And when people are building up for certain things, right? Those are very crucial as well as critical times. All right. And you do not want to Let me say it this way: you could permanently damage people while they're going through their phase, while they're going through that, through that time to get to a certain place. Okay. Now, I've heard testimonies about a couple individuals that I know personally, and how they had given up on writing altogether. And it was all because of an experience during crucial times. Okay. And so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, and especially those of us in motorcycle ministries. Okay. You've got to understand that sometimes the most anointed people, the most gifted people, have the hardest struggles and battles that they have to deal with in life. And you have to be conscious of that. Jesus sent them out by twos. And when they came back, they were so excited about what they were able to do in the name of the Lord. But what he says to them is, "Come ye apart." And he begins to let them know what's more important is that their name be written on the Lamb's book of life. And so sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that people need a time of rest, that people sometimes need to just come apart before they fall apart. Okay. And so, what am I saying with that? What I'm saying with that, as it relates to motorcycle ministries, sometimes we're out there ministering, but we've got to be conscious of the time that we need to detach. And as it relates to our groups, we've got to make sure that we are conscious of the state of mind that our brothers and sisters are in. In other words, sometimes we got to minister to ourselves so that we will remain available and capable to minister to others. Okay. And so, with that said and done, be careful how you talk to people and careful how you treat people, even on your team. Okay. Because they might be smiling on the outside. I got a phone call today that was a disturbing phone call earlier today. And literally right now, still in the process of trying to work through some things. And my lovely wife is trying to intercept it and get things sorted out. Because even while we're going through what we're going through, there are still some things that still have to be done. But anyway, sometimes we're still smiling and doing the best we can on the outside, but we're still dealing with inner turmoil for many different reasons. Okay. And all I'm simply trying to say is, if I'm out here acting like I'm 50 grand, if I'm out here trying to act like I'm the best thing since sliced bread, I could damage those around me. And I know we talked about this the other night. And I don't know, maybe you guys didn't catch that show, but the topic came up about church hurt. And I said we were going to dedicate a whole show to that. And we will indeed. We will indeed. We will talk about it and we will discuss it because church hurt is a real thing. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, it ain't real and this, that, and the other. Yes, it is. And the ones that saying it ain't real, they're probably the ones that done hurt somebody in church. That's why they say it ain't real. I digress because we're going to save that for a whole nother show. But we have to be aware of other people's feelings. Okay. And I just can't say this enough, man. You don't know where other people are. Okay. And let's just be real about it, because there are some Peters and some Judases that are out there. What I'm saying is, not everyone is going to be a James, and not everybody's going to be a Jesus, because Jesus went to the cross meek and lowly, right? He had the power to call legions to his rescue, but he went humbly to the cross, in spite of, but some folks are still of the Peter persuasion. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, be careful how you treat people. Who was it? Who was it? Y'all help me out, man. I'm getting ready to date myself, but was it Grandmaster Flash? Don't push me. I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. Yeah, okay. And so some people are on the edge. And you can floss on somebody if you want to. You're gonna find out real quick that not everybody that's saved is soft. I'm just saying, so be careful. Be careful by the grace of God. That's why one thing about Kingdom Alignment Ministry, we are quick to tell people that we are Christ centered and spirit led. And the reason why that's important is because when somebody push up on you, and you remember all the skills you once acquired, but because you are spirit led, you will humble yourself and just, because he said, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. But what I'm saying is, some people have taken some dangerous risks by dealing with people like they was punks, by dealing with people like they was nobody, and we can't afford to take that risk. We just can't afford to take that risk. So um, we all have to be careful because everybody out here is just trying to make it, man. Everybody's just trying to make it, man. And so if you're out there and you're doing your thing, here's what you do for your team: educate your team. If they're not riding the way you want them to ride, I mean, educate them, inspire them. Don't try to browbeat them. Y'all know what I mean when I say browbeat. I don't even know who I used to hear say that all the time coming up, but I used to always hear that terminology, browbeat. Which means to talk down on people and make them feel bad. And you don't do that to people. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And some of y'all nigglets out there, y'all just want to be important so bad that you will do it at the risk of defaming others, killing people's character, and the list goes on and on and on and on, as they would say, to the break of dawn. You know what I mean? And we want to be very careful with that. Okay. Let's see here. So, are you there, folks? I see we got some folks tuned in, but I don't see any comments coming up. And I want to see if I can hear from you on tonight. I also want to make sure things are working the way it's supposed to be working, because we have well, let's see here. Looks like I got some comments coming up here. Um, let's see here. Okay, so apparently, I'm seeing some of you guys comment on Facebook, but it's not showing up here on this here platform, and pretty that's pretty disturbing. Um, However, I guess I'll just keep on keeping on, as they would say. I see I got my man Kodak the Ground Pounder watching. David Barnes is watching. And Kodak says, "Good evening." And Kodak is he's a ground pounder for real, and he's a good example of a ground pounder as well. And there are so many other you guys out there that are doing the doggone thing, man. And people like me appreciate people like you. You know what I'm saying? Because you help make it possible. Because see, here's the deal: there are some people that do things right, and they do it because they want to be great. And ain't nothing wrong with you wanting to be great. Go on and be great, man. Go on and be great. I don't have any problem with you being great. But some folks out here trying to be great, they want to make it like it's a mystery. And the reason why people make it like it's a mystery is because they know if you find out, you'll probably outdo them at what they're trying to be great at. And so it's just like me. I come across something that, oh, you get that. I tell them exactly, yo, I got that down in such as it was on sale too, man. You go down there on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, they got a blowout sale. Look here, man. I ain't trying to, hate on nobody like that. I'm saying, but that's just the kind of dude that I've been all my life. I can't hold a secret. I can't. Now confidence. If you talk to me in confidence or then it ain't going nowhere. I'm not talking about that kind of secret. But in terms of where I get stuff from and things like that, I don't have a problem sharing that stuff, man. Because it's supposed to be shared. I mean, it's supposed to be shared, man. And so some people make stuff look like or they want to make it seem as though they're the only ones that can do it, but the reality is, man, I may do it one way, and then you may do it a different way. And I can learn from you. So look, dude, when I got people who are trying to do what I'm doing here in terms of YouTube or whatever, information was shared with me freely, so I share with others freely as well. I have no problems telling folk, yeah, I use such and such platform now. Right now I'm on Restream, and I was using Ecamm, which was a really nice program. I was able to do so much with it, and you can really set it up to be really nice. But man, they send out an update, and ever since that update, man, it's just been on the fritz. So I'm a little upset because it's a paid program, and. But anyway, what's my point? My point is I don't have a problem sharing information. Ladies and gentlemen, Saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. Hold on, where's she at? Lottie Dottie, where you at?
It's the Retro Philosophy Show.
Okay, all right. So here's the deal, man. Information is supposed to be shared. Okay. Now, I gathered some information and it benefited me. You could take the same information and extract something even more that I can then turn around and benefit from. So that's why I'm the kind of guy who I like to share information, because again, I may have only been able to extract one portion of it, but there's still so much more to be unlocked. It's almost like a word search or whatever. You saw 3 words and you thought you was doing something, and then somebody else, they come up and they found 7 more words that you didn't even know was there. So what am I saying? I'm saying share. Stop trying to hoard stuff and information and resources and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Okay. Now, mind over matter. Some people's minds just cannot grasp that concept. They just can't do it. They cannot grasp the concept that it's okay to share, and it's okay if you're not the only one that has those resources or what have you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that's sad. That's really, really sad. I'm trying to check something here, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have been such a pleasure on tonight, bearing with me as we try to work through all this stuff that's going on here. But let's see how long we've been on here. Well, I guess we've been on here long enough to get ready to bring this thing to a close. I really wish I could see your comments so we can chit chat. Trying to see it through Facebook is kind of difficult, just because. However, let's see. Okay, so my man Levi Johnson said, "You're not going to Alaska without me." That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That is what's up. So the more, the merrier. The more, the merrier. And as we prep and plan and prepare for this trip, and real talk, if you want to go, you already know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. For those who do not know, Levi is one of the newest members of Kingdom Alignment. He's got on board, man, and we're going through the process, man. We're gonna get him, we're gonna get things sorted out. So you'll be seeing a whole lot more, Mr. Levi, in the very near future. So we give a big shout out to my man Levi on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, say what's up to Levi Johnson. I can't put his comments on the screen, unfortunately, but he's watching via Facebook. And so so the more, the merrier. And see, sometimes when we're selfish, all we really do is just end up shooting ourselves in the foot. We just end up shooting ourselves in the foot, because the reality is there are some things that God has placed in our hands that are really seed. It's seed, but because you're selfish, you deal with it and you treat it as though it's fruit, and you consume it for yourself when you could have sold it and reaped a greater harvest. So you're stingy, so you eat the seed because you thought it was fruit. Yeah. And that's the end of it right there. It dies right there. There's no longevity in it. There's no, but if you were to plant that, and sometimes the best way to plant it is into the life of someone who's hungry. I mean to tell you, man, it just plant it, man. Sometimes you even have to be willing to give others opportunities that were given to you. Pass it on sometimes, that's the way I was raised. That's the way I was brought up. And I was blessed to have been around what I consider to be some real OGs. Yeah, some real OGs. I was talking with somebody the other day, and I did not grow up on the motorcycle set, and so I don't want you to think I grew up riding motorcycles. Like I said, ever since I was 12, but I didn't grow up on the motorcycle set, and God knows why, and I know why. It wasn't until late in life once I had already been saved for several for a long time, and then the Lord began to send me down the road of ministry, and then that's when I became, introduced, if you will, or exposed to the motorcycle set, and it's been a very interesting ride, and I'm very conscious of where I am and why I am where I am, but I did not grow up on the motorcycle set. Now, many of you who know me know my testimony, and some of you even know where I came from, and so I have nothing to prove to nobody. I don't have to prove to nobody, my pedigree or my, or any of that stuff. I don't have to do that. What was that cart? The cereal said "Tricks is for kids." Yeah, that's some immature stuff right there. The reality is that real recognize real. So if I come up on a real brother, I ain't got to prove none. He already know what's up, and I ain't talking about no bad boy stuff or anything like that. I'm just saying some folks out here with titles and positions, but they have no integrity. And I'm talking about in church and out of church, and just and see. So I'm a pastor, been pastoring for 14 years. So a good bulk of my adult life has been in the church. So most of my experience with people has been, I can't really say that. I was going to say it's going to be with church people. Um, but I can't really say that because I've always been a very well-rounded guy, and even after being saved, I believe God gave me wisdom, and so we still was able to maintain relationship with people on the other side, if you will, because if you are a light, then you are to give light to a dark world. The Bible talks about it's candles to be set on a candle stand, giving light to the whole room. However, it seems like church folk want to get this thing called the Holy Ghost, want to get this thing called the anointing and the glory of the Lord. And then they restrict it to church circles. That's a whole nother conversation and a whole nother topic. I ain't gonna go there tonight. We kind of talked about that the other night. But my point is, I still maintain relationships and things like that with the other side, because I felt that that's what the Lord was calling me to do. Okay. And I remember when we did get saved, my wife and I got saved. My wife came in about maybe 2 weeks later. And after a while, I do believe there were some tests and things like that. But after a while, we began to see friends that we used to run the streets with. First, it started out they would come to church for New Year's Eve. They would like year after year. I remember one year we had invited some family, some friends, and I never forget one watch. We call it watch night service, right? So we're there having watch night service, and we look back, and the whole back of the church was just flooded with our folks, man. It was so funny, man. And because they stayed there. And after the clock struck 12, they brung the new year in church, and then they went to the club. Yo, it was funny, and they would do this, but what happened was they began to stay longer, and before you know it, they started coming, and God started saving their souls, man. And many a times many a time God wants to use us to be that mouthpiece and to be that example. I tell people all the time, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Okay. So careful how you floss on them because you can quote scripture and they can't. Careful how you turn your nose up at them because they smell like reefer, or, careful, be very, very careful. All right. Um, but so we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that there is much work to be done, and we've got to do it with a level of compassion. Someone chimed in the other day on one of the shows we were doing, and they were talking about the difficulty that they were going through, and I began to encourage them because the exact thing that they're going through could be exactly where God wants to use them to be effective. Okay, I'm gonna get out of your way here in a little bit, but every one of you that's watching right now, and you may even be watching by the replay, but you have a level or a sphere of influence. In other words, there's a circle of people, there's a group of people, maybe even a demographic, excuse me, of people that only you can reach, that only you can reach. And sometimes because of that, you will be fought. Yeah, sometimes because of that, you will be fought. Okay, I'm not saying nobody gonna come up to you and want to, throw blows or nothing like that. But the enemy is gonna mess with your mind. He's gonna mess with your confidence. He's gonna mess with your peace. He might even mess with your health. He's gonna mess with your money. I mean, he's gonna come at you. He's gonna come at you because he wants you to stay in a state of mind full of frustration. And frustration, ladies and gentlemen, it can bring about so many other things, okay, such as anger, resentment, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay, on and on and on and on. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as I get ready to get out of your way. It's mind over matter. Okay, you might receive some bad news. It's mind over matter. I mean, does that mean that the news is no, it's bad news. My phone call earlier today was not the phone call that I wanted. Okay. And it's not over, but it's mind over matter. Okay. I can't allow that news to shake me, let alone break me. But what do I need to do? I need to make sure I remain in position because now is the time. Come on, somebody, to mount up. Now is the time to fight back. Okay. And you cannot fight when your mind is not in the game. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, he was a genius. I mean, he would get in the ring and he would get in their mind. He would mess with their mind. And before you know it, man, they were so mad, they were so angry that they couldn't box. All they were trying to do was fight. Y'all missed that. Yeah, you missed that. Okay. And so it's mind over matter. Okay. Whatever the situation or circumstance is, maybe you've got some issues going on in your motorcycle ministry. It's mind over matter. It ain't as bad as the enemy is trying to make you think it is. And sometimes our perception is our worst enemy. Yeah, I'll say that one more time. Sometimes our perception is our worst enemy. So be very careful. Say it with me. Mind over matter. I so apologize that I can't see your comments, ladies and gentlemen, but I do thank you for watching with us on tonight. Um, Troy Smith is in the building. What's going on, fam? We got Troy Smith in the building, Keith Clark in the building, aka the Fire Marshal Bill, aka Superman, Mr. Clark Kent himself. What's going on with you? Listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Buddy, what's going on, man? Let's see. I swear most of man, I can't see his post over here. Let me see. So, Buddy East, I happen to I will not disagree with you. Based on what I'm seeing here, he's saying most of the churches around here in so many words, are full of hypocrites, and and that may be very true. That I can't argue with that statement. I'd be a fool to try to dispute that, brother. That's a true statement, unfortunately, in many situations, in many cases. Um, and you know what? I'll say it like this. Sometimes God will allow us to see things so that we will know what not to do. In my earlier statements, some of my opening statements, I said sometimes your biggest blessing is knowing what not to do. Now, here's what you got to understand with the hypocrites that are in church. God's going to judge them. God's going to deal with them. Now, there's a scripture that says, because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of man are fully set in them to do wicked. Let me break that down in Ebonic terms. What that means is because they got away, they think they good. Because God doesn't judge them immediately, they think they good and they got away. But ain't nobody getting away when God's involved. And how many know he's a silent listener in every conversation? And the Bible lets us know we must give an account for every idle word. So my dear friend, Mr. Buddy East, let me encourage you. and say what you are seeing is what you are seeing. I'm not trying to dispute that. Um, but now you know what not to do. Now you know how not to behave. What they're doing is wrong, and I promise you, God's gonna judge them. And then the second part of that is it's sad but true. The church is a hospital, and not everyone that goes to church is well. They smile and they look good and they got on pretty clothes, but they jacked up, bruh. They toe up from the flow up. You know what I mean? Some of them are just too scared to be honest. They're too scared to say, "Oh Lord, brother pastor, help me because I'm slipping, I'm dipping and dodging." And they're too scared to do that because they're afraid that if they do that, they'll lose their reputation, they'll lose their yeah, and so they're scared. They're scared, you know. And that's sad. That's sad because Christ died so that we would not have to be a slave to sin. And so, yes, sir, there are a lot of people who are walking around here, hypocrites. You know what I mean? Um, let's see here. He says, Brother Levi says, so true. No matter what, just make sure our weakness, our walk stands up. Yeah, yeah. We've got to do. See, here's one of the problems. It would be nice if folks realize, and maybe they do realize. I don't know, man. I can't speak for the hypocrites. I just can't. But what they need to know is somebody's watching. Somebody's always watching. Somebody's always watching, and I get it. Y'all have heard me say this before, because my mother, she would tell me this all the time. There's a weak moment in every strong man's life. But here's what we've got to understand: there's a difference between a weak man and a man that has chosen a lifestyle. Okay, now you slip up and you dip and you dodge and okay, you had a weak moment and you did the wrong thing, but you keep going back to it every single day. That's not a bad choice. That's not a slip. That's not a weakness. That's a choice. You have chosen a lifestyle of sin. I heard about. I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. So I won't even use that as an example because I don't want to put nobody out there like that because, as I said, God will handle it. And so, and this is another thing that I've learned too. Sometimes you just got to take your mouth off of people. I mean, I'm just being real. I can't sugarcoat it. There are many situations that you may be made aware of, myself included. I've been, and the best thing sometimes to do is to just pray for folks. You know what I mean? Um, it might not be the answer that you want to hear, but the reality is sometimes you're better off just praying than praying. Yeah, Pray and not Prey, because there are some people who take the wrong that people have done and they will use it as an opportunity to, to hurt them even more or whatever, whatever, whatever. And buddy, I know that's not your situation. I know that's not what you're doing, brother. What you're seeing is real. And hopefully God will clean it up. Hopefully God will clean it up. We are all out here trying. We're all out here trying. Nobody's perfect. And guess what? Somebody somewhere knows something about me. I'm just saying. I mean, it is what it is. They might have caught me on a bad day, and I treated them bad, or and so all we can do is just ask God to forgive us and help us to do better. I often pray, Lord, make me a better man than I was yesterday, because it's all about perfecting our walk with God. Okay. Now, if you out here and you have chosen a particular lifestyle of sin, that's a whole nother situation there, man. I mean, when judgment comes, it's gonna come and it's gonna come hard. But here's the thing about judgment, ladies and gentlemen. True story. He always sends his warning before he sends his judgment. Yeah, yeah. Just because you've gotten away, don't mean I should say just because you've gotten by doesn't mean you've gotten away. Judgment will, if you have not repented, judgment is going to find you sooner or later. It's going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you sooner or later. Okay. So even with that, it's mind over matter. Some folks are too worried about what folks are going to say if they find out. They're going to find out sooner or later, one way or the other. So you might as well be more concerned with what God's going to say, because God is the one that can forgive us and cast our sin into the sea of forgetfulness. So I don't know, maybe somebody's listening tonight, maybe you're watching tonight and you're in a place in your life where you need to get some things together, but you've been so concerned with mama or daddy or whoever else going to say, um, yeah. Don't worry about what they're gonna say. Worry about what God's going to say. Okay. Mind over matter. Yeah, mind over matter, man. Yeah. Uh I'll say this in my third closing. I think this is about my third closing for the night. Stop allowing the enemy to live in your mind rent free. He has given you thoughts, made you think you thought the thoughts, then turn right back around and condemn you for thinking the thoughts you thought you thought. Yeah, the devil will give you thoughts, make you think you thought the thought, then condemn you for thinking you thought the thought. That's what I said, and I ain't taking it back. So we got to stop letting him live rent free in our minds, because if he lives in your mind long enough, it won't be long till he begins to corrupt your heart. Oh, you didn't know that your mind and your heart were closely related? They're attached. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have you ever heard of somebody dying of a broken heart? Their heart didn't break. That the main valve didn't just crush on them, but they thought about the loved one that they lost so much and how they couldn't live without him. As a man thinketh, so is he. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. Stop letting the enemy live in your mind rent free. Because if you do it again, it's just a matter of time until he begins to corrupt your heart. I'm going to get out of here and see if my wife was able to get this phone call that we so desperately need to address. Um, and so we can govern ourselves accordingly. But, ladies and gentlemen, mind over matter. Let me close one more time because I'm feeling generous. I say this a lot at church, and I guess this is an extension of church. Thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Church on tonight. Okay, we're gonna have a little church. God, let me say it like I'm deep in spiritual. God does not work from the outside in. He doesn't do that. He doesn't. Let me say it again, and I'm very serious. God does not work from the outside in. He works from the inside out. The enemy works from the outside in. He will send and create and cause external situations and circumstances for the sole purpose of disturbing your mind. Because again, he knows that your mind is connected to your heart, because as a man thinketh, so is he. That's why you can have a young lady that's as fine as wide, pretty as the day is long. But somewhere along the way, somebody was mad that she was prettier than they were, so they told her she was ugly. There was an external stimulant or stimuli that began to make its way inside. And she began to think on it longer than she needed to, or he. They allowed the enemy to live here rent free, and eventually it disturbed and corrupted the heart. And so now, as pretty as she is, she thinks she's ugly. And because she thinks she's ugly, she feels she has to do other things just to keep people's attention or to gain their love or trust or whatever the case may be. And so now, even though she's pretty on the outside, inside, she believes she's ugly. And that's what the enemy does. He takes something external to destroy internally. But God can work from the inside out. Who was it? I think it was Job. Said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Paul said, cast down, but not destroyed, you know. And so externally, as a matter of fact, he went on another occasion, he said, though the outward man perish, the inward man is renewed day by day. Mind over matter. Some of y'all have walked away from ministries because, you were looking at external situations and circumstances and allowed it to disrupt you internally, and you lost the faith. You walked away from your God and your Savior and your King because of what the devil said. Stop letting the enemy live rent free. Mind over matter. You've got to rise above the problem and the situation, and you have to begin to ask God to let you see you as he sees you. Mhm. You have to begin to ask God, Lord, let me see me the way you see me. Now, that's a serious prayer. Because not only will he show you that you're strong, that you're wonderfully and fearfully made in his image and in his likeness, but sometimes he's going to show you that you are what should I say? How should I want to be careful and be kind. You are a special individual. No, really. Sometimes he'll show you you're mean, you're impatient, you're full of anger, you're full of untrust. Sometimes he'll show you that too. And the reason why he'll show you that is because he wants you to work on you, because he knows what he called you to be, and he knows you're in from your beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain't, it's your boy Retro with you on tonight. I'm gonna let you go, get on up out of your way. I do want to say thank you for pressing play and being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. And I guess I'll look into this and see if I can figure out why these comments weren't coming up. But I'll go and check it out on the individual platforms and respond accordingly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for again pressing play and being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. And we're gonna get on out your way, man. Make sure you check us out if you would like to join us on this ride here, the second annual Genesis ride. Again, it will start on January the 1st. Kickstands up at 9:30. Let me see, make sure I got it right. Yeah, meet and greet is at 9 a.m. And that's going to be at 4200 Glenwood Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kickstands up at 9:30. We then have another meet up with another group of another group that will be joining us for the ride. And so if you are coming out of the Statesville area, the Mooresville area, the surrounding area, north of Charlotte, make sure you reach out to me. We will be meeting up together to go down to the meetup spot. Okay. But the official the meetup spot is going to be 9 a.m. at 4200 Glenwood Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you have any further questions or need any further information, you can reach out to my Vice President Lowrider at 704-618 0284. The number is on your screen. And you can also refer to our Facebook group, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, because it's posted there on our page there. Okay. Also, you don't want to miss the upcoming interview that we're going to be having with the one and only Doc J of Ground Pound Riders out of the Phoenix, Arizona area. We're going to sit down and talk about keeping it real no matter what. Keeping it a buck no matter what. There's a lot of people who have a hard time keeping it real. They don't know what it means to keep it real. So we're going to pick the brain and the mind and the soul of the one and only Doc J. Looking forward to that conversation. So make sure you join us this coming Monday at 8 p.m. That's December the 19th. All right, December the 19th. And then I'm going to hit you with this. We are having a watch night service at Upper Praise Ministries. I don't have the graphic, but I do have a little short video. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen.